Hi, I'm Paul, this is my wife Donna, and welcome to Hiking the Horseshoe, an epic adventure through the wilds of eastern Pennsylvania. So several years ago, Donna and I decided that we would undertake a section hike of the entire Horseshoe Trail, which runs from Valley Forge out to west of Hershey, Pennsylvania, and ends at the Appalachian Trail. So it took us about a year and a half to finish that, and once we got done we decided that we would love to share what we learned and experienced in that first hike. So here we are today getting ready to start another complete section hike of the Horseshoe Trail, and this time we're going to videotape our adventures along the Horseshoe Trail and share it with everyone. So Donna, we are where at this point?
We're in Valley Forge National Park, and the trail starts right at Washington's headquarters. Parking there is limited to 2 hours, so if you plan on hiking longer than 2 hours, you're going to want to park where we actually are right now. Take 252 to Yellow Springs Road. You're going to turn left up Wilson Street, which is right here. There's a nice big parking lot at the end of the street. There's bathroom facilities, and then it'll take you back to where the start of the trail is. Paul, tell them how to get back.
So the trail actually, the official start of the Horseshoe Trail starts at the intersection of 252 and Route 23, and we'll show you where that marker is just after this. But unfortunately, as Donna said, the parking right there by Washington's Crossing is limited to 2 hours. So if you're going to do sort of a full day hike from this location, you're going to want to park here. And then what you do is we're standing right next to the trail that leads from the parking lot, and it winds down towards the covered bridge at Yellow Springs Road. Just before the covered bridge, you'll make a left and walk down along Valley Creek, a great little trail down along Valley Creek, for about a mile or so, and then the trail will break up to the left and begin to go up Mount Misery, and then you'll intersect with the Horseshoe Trail. The funny thing about this route is you don't actually pass the marker that indicates the start of the Horseshoe Trail, which we're going to show you in a minute. If you actually want to see the marker, get a picture in front of the marker, you're going to want to park at Washington's headquarters, cross Route 23, and it's right there at the intersection. So let's get started. So here we are at the official start of the Horseshoe Trail. It's a marker that sits here right at the intersection of 23 and 252. We parked back down the Valley Creek Trail. It's about a mile or so over my left shoulder, runs down along the creek here, and then the Horseshoe Trail continues up here to my left. So let's get started.
Here we are on the trail. We're in Valley Forge National Park climbing Mount Misery. It's about a 400-foot vertical climb. Let's keep walking.
Okay, about halfway up Mount Misery, we've come upon the bottling plant. These are ruins of a plant that was built around the late 1800s. A little spring runs through the plant here, and the trail continues up this way.
Okay, so here we are at the top of Mount Misery. We made it, first trail register. You'll see these periodically along the trail, kind of a neat way to record your time on the trail. People sign in, make little sayings and so forth, so take some time to check those out.
Okay, a little hiking 101. So this is a trail blaze. Trail blaze marks the trail, and in the case of the Horseshoe Trail, the blazes are yellow. So every single blaze along the Horseshoe Trail is going to be yellow. You're going to follow those yellow blazes and pay attention to them. They can be marked on trees, telephone poles, rocks, on the ground. You never know, and it's really easy to lose track of them and end up in somebody's backyard. So keep an eye on the blazes. You see this one here, and if you look a little further down there, you see another one. So follow those blazes in order to stay on the trail.
Okay, hiking 101, part 2, trail blazes. Two blazes on a tree indicate a change in the direction of the trail. So you see here, the blaze is double blaze with the top blaze moving towards the right. That's indicating that the trail is going to the right.
If the trail were to go to the left, you'd see a blaze over here and over here, indicating that the trail goes that way. So that's how you make sure you don't miss a turn and end up lost.
Hi, we're back, and as you can see, things have really changed. We're in a residential area right now. The trail's on the street. We're a little over 2 miles in, and about the first 20 miles of this section of the trail, you're going to hit residential properties. Sometimes on the road, sometimes right along the edge of people's properties, sometimes through it. So like Paul said, follow the blazes, be respectful of people's properties, and enjoy the hike along the way.
Hey, it's Paul. We're back. We're a little over 6 miles into the trail. Donna's trying to walk backwards and filming at the same time, but she's having trouble. So we'll stop. We are a little over 6 miles into the trail. We're in Charlestown Township. Beautiful section through here that really we just picked up about 10 minutes ago. But to be honest, a majority of the trail to this point has been on roads and through neighborhoods. Not my favorite part of the trail, but it gets better as you go further west. And you know, to do the whole trail, you gotta take the bad with the good. So about 6 miles in, we'll check in a little while later. Hey, we're back again. It's about mile 10 here for the day since the start of the trail, and overall not too bad. The last 5 miles or so we're kind of on road, off road, back and forth. We've been on a trail here in the woods for maybe about a half a mile, and then what tends to happen is it dumps you off on the road and you walk on the road for a little while. But that's kind of the nature of the first 20-30 miles of the trail. It's a little more suburban than rural, so we'll check back in when the terrain changes a little bit. All right, we just came down off of Yellow Springs Road and headed towards the outer border of Charlestown Township into, I think it's East Pikeland. And well, look what we got here. We have some friends. So we hit some of that classic rolling countryside in Chester County. Okay, we are coming down the home stretch for the day. We just passed about 14 miles, and we are coming up on Route 113 in East Pikeland Township. So we'll check back in and show you where we parked, get an idea of some of the parking areas around here. But I thought we'd show you this nice section through the woods here before we get on to 113. So we'll check back in a few. Good morning and welcome to day 2 of hiking the Horseshoe. We are just a little west of Route 113, right off of Horseshoe Trail Road. And we're getting ready to start another 15-16 miles out to St. Peter's Village, sort of along the western fringes of Chester County. And we are at a parking lot right off of Horseshoe Trail Road, right at Chantilly Lane, one of the nicer trailhead parking spots along the Horseshoe Trail. Little covered shed here. I think it's a bus stop. And parking for about 10 or 12 cars, paved, real nice area. So you know, one of the spots here by 113, it's a really good location to park at. Some places are a little rough, small gravel lots, grass lots, that kind of stuff. But the one here is real nice. So before we got started, we wanted to take a minute and do a little bit of a plug for a great organization, the Horseshoe Trail Conservancy. So Donna, you wanted to talk about that?
Yeah, that group was started in about 1935, and their mission is to support, maintain, and promote the Horseshoe Trail. They organize volunteers that do cleanup, and we want to thank everybody that volunteers their time to maintain the trail. They really do a great job. More information can be found on hstrail.org. And they also publish a guide with the maps, which is essential. If you're going to do this, you have to know where you're going and where the trail leads you. Paul, why don't you tell them more about the trail?
Yeah, so you can buy the guide to the Horseshoe Trail either directly through the website, hstrail.org, or a lot of local outfitters also sell it directly. So if you check the Horseshoe Trail website, they can give you more information on where you can buy it. And there's really two key pieces that you get with that. You get a little booklet. We forgot to bring it along today, but it's a booklet which is a comprehensive guide of the entire trail. It mentions access points. It talks about points of interest along the way. It gives you a history of the Horseshoe Trail. Talks about the organization, and talks about places where you can camp, all kinds of great information. And that's in a little pamphlet, probably about 80 pages or so. In addition to that, you get a set of 10 maps. We have map 2 today because we're doing our second section. And these maps are really, they're awesome. They're high quality maps, vinyl coated, so they last, they really hold up well. And they really give you a great layout of the trail. You can see it on here. It's in full detail, and it talks about mile markers, mentions mile markers on here, so that you can make sure that you stay on the trail, follow the trail. On the backside, they also have directions, sort of mile by mile directions, as well as access points. So if you're going to do any significant hiking on there, we really recommend that you pick up the Horseshoe Trail Guide, and as well support the Horseshoe Trail Conservancy. You can become members. There's various membership levels where you can join and support the Conservancy as well. So we just wanted to take a minute and recommend that to everyone. So
there's one thing too with the maps is you do want to check the website in case there's any detours.
Right. Yeah.
That's always important. Make sure that you look at what you're going to do before you actually get out there so that you don't have any surprises.
Yeah, because occasionally they'll do reroutes of the trail. There'll be detours. And these maps are only as good as the last map that was printed, but they do a real good job on the website of giving you detours or closures or reroutes. So check that before you go out on any of the hikes to make sure that the section you're going to be hiking hasn't been rerouted. So with that, we're going to get our gear on and get started.
All right.
Okay, we're back. We are about 2.5 miles in a really remote location here. We've been on the trail for about 45 minutes this morning, and actually, no, I'm lying. We have been on the road for the last 2.5 miles. This is probably one of my least favorite sections of the trail. I think I said that last week too, but the section between 100 and 113, a lot of time pounding the pavement. Beautiful homes, beautiful area. We spent a lot of time on the road, and it's somewhat heavily traveled. So if you're doing this section, please be careful, watch for traffic, stay on the side, and enjoy the trail. Okay, doing a quick video kind of by myself here because I'm waiting for Donna to come back down that trail. But a great example of how if you're not paying attention, you can just get completely off the trail. We came down this way. We had just come off some of the roads in Chester Springs. We're really enjoying walking through the woods here, and you kind of get your groove and get a pace going, and we totally missed that double blaze, which shows that the trail goes down this way and not this way. So yeah, just a great example of how you have to pay attention to the blazes on the trail. So we are about, I guess 5 miles in. We have a little detour, so I'm not quite sure. And every time I complain about this trail, it proves me wrong. And I have to give some credit to the Horseshoe Trail Conservancy for part of that. We've been in some really nice sections here. I was complaining earlier this morning that we were on the road a lot, and it appears as though they did some reroutes through this area just east of Route 100, and it knocked out some road sections on Horseshoe Trail Road. And Horseshoe Trail Conservancy is doing that on a regular basis, trying to reroute the trail and make it a little more off the road. So
you know, kudos to them for doing this, because I gotta say the last 2 miles is has been real nice. So we'll check in after we cross Route 100.
And that's one more reason why you should check out their website or their Facebook page before you leave, to make sure that you know about the reroutes.
Like we didn't do this.
Hi, we've been hiking for a little over 10 miles now. We've had some beautiful trails that we've been following in with woods and rolling hills of Chester County. Just really nicely maintained. We came across the Turtle, some creeks, just a beautiful area. We wanted to show you one of our favorite overlooks here of this farm of Chester County in the rolling hills. It's worth hiking up the hill that we just hiked to get this view. So we're gonna head on a little bit more into the trail. We're gonna stop for lunch shortly. So let's keep walking and we'll show you part of the trail.
So this is a pretty good representation of what we have been hiking on since, well, even before we crossed Route 100. So, you know, I always think once you cross Route 100, the trail really gets much more wild and a lot more scenic. So this is kind of what we've been seeing for the last, geez, probably 3 or 4 miles. Really nice. Beautiful area, heading sort of parallel to Route 23 now, heading west obviously. We'll check in later. Okay, we just stopped for lunch, and I rinsed my face off in the creek. Stopped at a really cool spot for lunch. We kind of starved ourselves a little bit in order to get here and be able to spend any of our lunch. It's about mile 10.3 on map 2. You pass the French Creek Elementary School, cross Coventryville Road, and you come down here to French Creek. It's just a beautiful spot. Creek's going by here, a lot of cool big rocks you can sit on and just enjoy, take a break, enjoy the scenery. So we just wrapped up eating lunch. We came down the trail right behind where Donna is, and we're going to be heading across the creek and towards Warwick Park. Okay, we just came out of the woods here at Warwick County Park, and just a little tip for folks that are walking the trail out here if you're headed west. You'll see that in the woods here, just before you come out into the main parking area, the trail will be marked that it goes up to the north, and then it'll go back to the west again, and then back down to the south. It's really meant to take the horse traffic up and around the main area of the park. But you can't just take a straight shot out the trail, and you hit a really nice area. There's some restrooms here, plenty of parking, so you can even park here if you want to start or end the trail. And it's a really pretty area and a real nice park. So just thought we'd show that to you, and we're gonna head off and get these last couple of miles knocked out.
All right, we're just finishing up for the day. We took a little spur trail off of Horseshoe Trail once we crossed 23. That spur trail leads to the parking lot right behind me, which is in St. Peter's Village. St. Peter's Village is a really quaint little village. There's a restaurant. Paul will show you with the deck. There was just playing some music out on the deck. There's a deli. There's a little ice cream shop. Great little place to stop. Nice big rocks here. You can have lunch. My cousins, when they used to come out from Colorado, we used to come up here every summer and have a nice picnic and climb the rocks and listen to Aunt Lena play her saw out front of the hotel. It was pretty cool. Great memories. So anyway, we are done for the day. We'll talk to you later.
Good morning. It is Saturday morning of Memorial Day weekend, a fabulous weekend. It's about 65 degrees this morning. It's about 10 o'clock. And we're getting started here at St. Peter's, where we left off last time. I wanted to show you the parking lot here at St. Peter's. It's right off at the end of the village. kind of the north end of the village, and plenty of room for parking. It's a gravel lot, and then the trail goes off to the right here, and then that's a spur trail that goes for about a quarter mile that'll rejoin the Horseshoe Trail. So we're going to get started this morning, so we'll check in a little later. Hey, good morning. We're back on the trail. We've only been on for about 10 minutes or so, but we thought we'd share with you a little bit of a different twist that we're doing for this hike, and that is we're going to do an overnight. One of the things that we'd like to do in the next year or so is do a little more extensive hiking with overnights on, say, the Appalachian Trail or even out west. So this is kind of our shakedown hike. So we've kind of geared up this weekend. We have a campsite rented out at French Creek State Park, so we're going to stay overnight there. And the reason why I wanted to kind of talk about this is I see a lot of people asking questions as to whether you can through hike on the Horseshoe Trail, and the answer is maybe. You really cannot camp along the Horseshoe Trail in any of the areas from start to finish like you can along the Appalachian Trail. So you have to make use of campsites that are slightly off of the trail or hotels that are slightly off the trail. The guide to the Horseshoe Trail that we talked about earlier does highlight some of the campsites and hotels that are available at certain points along the trail. The challenge is there aren't that many of them. Some of them are quite a ways off of the trail. So again, it's possible, but it's a bit of a challenge. But we thought we'd do one this weekend and kind of show you guys, you know, what it takes and where you can, one of the locations where you can camp. So we're all geared up, right? So what are we carrying here?
Both of us have Osprey backpacks. Mine is a 33 liter and Paul's a 44 liter. We are both carrying sleeping bags, bed rolls. I have a camp stove and Paul has the tent. And what else?
Well, we have food,
well, no,
clothing.
But, okay.
We have the footprint for the tent, which is a tarp that just goes underneath the tent, gives you a little more protection.
We have never camped in our life, so this will be an experience that we're looking forward to. And we'll let you know. You want to be smart and make sure you get the right equipment, get light equipment. We were really conscious when we were buying stuff of the weight. And hopefully we were smart in our decisions and smart in what we packed, but we'll let you know if there's anything we packed we don't think you need.
Yeah, so we'll check in later at the campsite and we'll kind of show you all the gear we've got, give you a little overview of what we're using. But that's what we're doing, so we are off.
Okay, so I just thought I'd show you a little bit of the trail. We're about 3.5 miles in from where we started in St. Peter's Village. We've been coming through a lot of woods, but a beautiful part of the trail. We just crossed over Harmonyville Road, and we just came upon this beautiful meadow. I just thought I'd show you a little bit. It's been a beautiful day again for the hike. So let's keep going.
Hey, Paul, we're back at Hopewell Furnace National Historic Site. We're about 6 miles in on the trail. Beautiful location here, and not accidental that the Horseshoe Trail goes through here. So a little bit of history on the Horseshoe Trail that you can read about a little further in the guide. But the Horseshoe Trail runs along a region in Pennsylvania that was famous for its iron furnaces. The iron industry in the 1800s was very predominant along the Horseshoe Trail, and what you'll see is a series of furnaces and ironworks that sort of dot the region, and the trail really kind of connects all these furnaces. So a lot of the trail sections that you walk on were put together to connect these furnaces 200 years ago. So you see here in the tree the Horseshoe Trail marking, and we're going to head up a little further and grab some lunch. Hey, it's Paul. We're here in French Creek State Park. We just came upon a really nice little stream or brook here, and thought I'd show you a little hiking, kind of advanced hiking, and it's something that's probably not necessarily necessary on the Horseshoe Trail. but it's something we're going to try out for some of our future hikes, and it is kind of handy to have. And this is it's a water filtration system, and this one happens to be the squeeze system from Sawyer. Pretty nice because it's fairly compact. Basically, you're looking at the whole system here. It also comes with a plunger that you can use to back flush the filter. But real quickly, this is the first time I've been using it, so I'm going to kind of show you how it works. Just a couple of thoughts on water sources. This claims to eliminate, well, it goes down to 10 microns, I'm sorry, 0.1 microns. I think they claim that it filters, it's over 99%, so pretty much all the pathogens and certainly any sediment. But you also have to be conscious of where you're getting your water from. You don't want to get it downstream from, say, a farm or pasture where there might be animals using the water upstream and contaminating it, or any wash coming off of the farms into the water. So this one's pretty good. It's kind of coming out of the higher elevations here at French Creek. So we're going to give this a shot. So I'm going to fill up, basically it comes with a bag to put your dirty water in. So I'm going to put some of that in here.
Is it difficult to fill, Paul?
Kind of gotta get the bag. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, you got a good flow.
You slowly have to get the bag.
Looks like he's got to get the bag open a little more so that the water will run into it.
You get the bag to expand a little bit here so that it actually takes water in. Okay. I just have a little bit in here. Then you notice if there's a flow arrow on here, so we'll screw that onto the bag. And then really all you do, as the system says, you squeeze. So we'll, basically the other end of the filter just looks like a water bottle with a nozzle. And you squeeze through that, and there we go. Take a quick taste here.
How is it?
Actually tastes like it's right out the tap. It's very, very clean.
It's probably very cold too.
Fairly cool, yeah, but no aftertaste. Tastes real good. So, nice little system. Just thought we'd share it with you. Thanks.
Hi, it's Donna. We're in French Creek State Park. We've been hiking a few miles through the woods here. It's a beautiful section of the trail. Lots of areas have ferns. There's none here where we are, but just nice, easy climbs. Sometimes you have to climb up some little bit of rocky terrain, but it's not too bad. And actually, Paul might be tripping over the rocky terrain right now, but great part of the trip.
So here we are in French Creek State Park. We have our camp set up. We've got dinner on the grill, and Paul is out fetching firewood. It's unseasonably cold tonight, so we want to make sure that we have enough wood to keep us warm. It's a pretty nice setup here. It's not too close. The sites aren't too close together, so it's not too bad. This is the first time, like I said, that we've been here camping, and I just thought I'd show you a little bit of our campsite.
Well, good morning. So we realized that when we were out camping, we had promised that we would go over some of the gear that we use in our backpacks. And after completing the hike, we realized that we never did that. So we're just going to do a quick segment here and go through what we carried with us when we hiked into French Creek and stayed overnight. So this is pretty much all the gear we carried, with the exception of these three items: the pillow, the sleeping pad, and the sleeping bag. We each obviously carried one of these. then we have the tent and the stove. So the sleeping pad is a Thermarest Trail Pro, self-inflating. That's a mummy-shaped pad, and worked relatively well. They're very compact, very lightweight. I think they're somewhere around a little under 2 pounds. So nice little pad, and like I said, self-inflating, so really easy to get set up. The sleeping bag we used was an EMS brand Velocity 35, rated down to 35 degrees. Worked out real well. These are not something you're going to use in extremely cold conditions, but for a like 3-season type of sleeping bag, works out real well. And as you can see, compresses down real nicely and comes in at around I think a little under 3 pounds. So nice and lightweight. EMS Dreamy pillow. You know, whatever you want to use. These again compress real well and worked out pretty well. They're, you know, camping pillows are small, so you don't get a whole lot for what you cram into a package like this, but these work well. And then our tent, we use the Kelty Salida 2-person tent. A little bit of a tight tent. It's a small. It literally is a 2-person tent, but a real nice tent, rated well, fairly affordable for what you get, and fairly lightweight. I think comes in at under 5 pounds for everything. We also use the tarp underneath that is an accessory with this. It keeps you a little drier underneath, but this worked real well, and as you can see, compresses down pretty small to get into a pack. And then lastly, for the stove, this is a relatively new stove from Jetboil, the Minimo. Worked out really well. I mean, this thing can really crank out some heat quickly to boil water and set up meals. So pretty easy to set up. Burner here goes onto the bottom. You stick a canister on here. It has an igniter on it, so you don't need to carry an igniter. The igniter's right there. And then you get legs built in for a little more stability, and then you can use the lid for a cup. So nice little system, worked really well for the one time that we used it, so I'm very pleased with that. So that's what we carried with us, and just thought we'd share that with you, and hope that gives you some helpful information. Hey, good morning, it's Paul. It's Sunday morning. We just got back on the trail. We're only about 300 yards in or so. Scott's Runs just on the other side of this tree line here. So pretty good night camping last night.
I agree.
We got a pretty decent night's sleep, a little bit of noise late at night, but overall campground was nice. Facilities were pretty good. You know, I would recommend it as an option to get 2 days in on the Horseshoe Trail. Not bad at all. So today we're headed out of French Creek, moving into Berks County. So 2nd county on the trail.
What map number?
We'll be on map 4 today. So we'll be stopping out in Plowville at Route 10, and we'll wrap up for the weekend at that point. All right, so we'll check in later.
Hi, it's Donna. We're back. We're about 5 miles in. We just crossed Hay Creek Road, and we just climbed a killer hill. Trail's been beautiful. The hill killed me, but we did it. We're sharing the trail with runners that are doing a half marathon today. So I figured if they can run that hill, I can hike it. So that's it. Beautiful. Paul can show you a little bit of what we're looking at and what's ahead, and we'll check back in with you later.
So you kind of see here, kind of a single track trail. These ribbons are for the half marathon that's going on. I'm gonna hop over here. But the trail's been very similar pretty much the whole way out of French Creek. So nice canopy above us, blocking the sun out. Walking in shade most of the time, and then this, you know, beautiful undergrowth of ferns and smaller trees. But I mean, that's been pretty much the trail all morning, and I gotta say it's been nice. It's cool out, so that's the other nice thing today is it's great hiking weather. So anyway, we're about halfway through the hike for the day, and we will check in as we go closer to the end.
Hi, we just finished up. We're a little under 10 miles in Plowville. There's a great parking lot here, and we just came up Buck Hollow Road. The last 2.5 miles were probably, were extremely different from this morning. This morning was under beautiful shade, beautiful hike through forest. We've been walking through developments and making a steady climb up here to this parking lot. It was a long, steep climb. It's gotten hot. It's been a good hike overall, so we'll talk to you next time.
Good morning. It is Saturday morning. We are back out here at Plowville, where we left off last time. Route 10 is right behind me here. We're parked in the gravel lot here at Plowville Road and Alleghanyville Road. So we're getting ready to start another section today. The trail heads out sort of off behind my left shoulder here. So a beautiful day, and we're getting ready to get started.
Okay, we're going to go about 11 miles today. We're heading west towards Adamstown, so we'll check in with you in a little bit. Hi, we just are about a mile in and wanted to show you a little bit of the trail. While the last section of the trail we ended walking through a development and a lot on the road, we've been pretty much in this type of environment for this first mile. It's absolutely beautiful. Paul will pan around and you can see some of the woods with the ferns and the moss and beautiful undercover. It's a nice section. We're going to keep heading out.
Okay, so we're only about another mile or so in, but I wanted to share a little bit of the trail with you. So there is a trail here. It goes down straight ahead. This time of year, trail in certain sections gets pretty overgrown if it's not used all that much. We had a lot of rain over the last week, so the vegetation's really grown up quickly, and some sections of the trail get pretty tight with vegetation. So the good thing is the Horseshoe Trail Conservancy is organizing a volunteer day to do some trail maintenance. So another plug for the Horseshoe Trail Conservancy. They really do a lot for the trail. We actually ran into a guy where we parked who's getting ready to meet the rest of the volunteers. So I imagine they'll be coming through this section with weed whackers and chainsaws and be clearing a lot of this out. So you know, again, another plug for the Horseshoe Trail Conservancy. They do a great job in maintaining the trails. So we'll keep moving here. Okay, we're here on the trail, and we just ran into a fellow hiker, Jamie Hutchinson, who's also heavily involved in the Horseshoe Trail. So Jamie, why don't you talk a little bit about what you're involved in and your role?
Right. Well, I live near the trail here, and I started out just doing my runs on the trail, and it was great having this trail that went forever that I could just come out and run on. And so I called the Horseshoe Trail organization to find out what help they needed, and of course they wrapped that noose right around my neck and stuck me in, and now I'm the secretary of the Conservancy and the newsletter editor, which if anyone out there wants to edit a newsletter, we're looking for a new editor.
Plenty of work to do. And that's called the Blaze, right?
So I edit the Blaze, which comes out twice a year.
Okay.
And we're always looking for stories to put in the Blaze of people's experiences on the trail. Some of it's just information about the trail, and some of it's things that people might be interested about other people's adventures.
Okay.
So we send that out to about 900 people.
Okay.
And so that takes a chunk of effort, a couple times a year.
Great.
And then keeping the trail clear is the other thing that we always need help with. As you can see in the spring now, The vegetation just keeps growing in, growing in, growing in. So it takes a lot of weed whacking and clipping to keep 148 miles of trail clear.
Yeah, we saw a group earlier today by Plowville getting together.
Oh yeah,
to do a
the
volunteer walk.
Botania, they're from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Okay. Group, I think.
Okay.
And Charlie Crowell might have been with them.
Okay. All right.
So there's a core of people that we have that keep the whole trail open. So a number of us have sections of 8 to 10 miles that's sort of our personal responsibility, and then Kent Wagner is our trails chair, and he sort of oversees all of the maintenance of the trail.
Okay.
And then the other big issue that we have, of course, is the fact that the trail goes across private property
Right.
for a lot of its miles. And if a landowner gets mad at us, we don't have easements over most of it, I would say. One of our goals now is obtaining easements for the trail so that we can be assured that it will stay there. But if we have a section of 10 miles from one road to another, and it goes through 20 different landowners' properties, if one of those landowners decides they don't want the trail on their property, then we might have to reroute that whole trail onto the road, which is what happened out near Valley Forge earlier this year, where a whole section was
And we
closed.
saw that,
for a while.
and we talked about that earlier when we started the hike.
And that is reopened now.
Yeah, we actually saw that this morning because we checked the website, which we always tell everyone, check the website before you
Okay, good.
because there are reroutes and you can get a little lost and you don't want to end up in
Yes,
somebody's
there are.
backyard.
And this trail is, we try to keep it blazed, but vegetation grows over or things change. So it's a good idea to have our guidebook and maps with you whenever you're hiking it, because there is a description of the trail as well as the visual map. On the back of it, there's a description for turn by turn if you're going east to west.
Right.
If you're going west to east, you have to kind of read it backwards. And that one of our goals is the next time we print maps is to also have a west to east description too,
For those of us that are directionally challenged.
or walking backwards,
Right.
or not backwards, but west to east.
Well, Jamie, thanks for all your efforts. Like we've said before, we talked a lot about the Horseshoe Trail Conservancy and all the great work they do. Jamie's a great example. There's a lot of other folks. Plenty of opportunities to get involved if you want to get involved, anywhere from volunteer work to positions in the Conservancy. So look into it, hst.org.
HStrail.
Sorry,
.org.
hstrail.org, and you can find out more about it.
Hi, we have gone about 8.5 miles. We had a nice stop for lunch, and we met up with 3 people working the trail and clearing it up, and thank you to them. We got a picture of them. We'll show you later on in the end, the movie. We have just hit this gravel road, which goes for a while. We're finishing up map 4, so we're going to keep heading this way down the gravel road, and we'll check in a little bit later. So we just finished 12 miles. We're at the intersection of 222 and 568. Nice parking lot here. Again, thank you to everyone we met today, all the volunteers of Horseshoe Trail. I've met some great people, had a good day for a hike, and we'll check in with you next time when we start back right here.
Good morning. It's Saturday morning. We're getting ready to start another quick section hike here today. So we're back out in Adamstown. We parked over at the Park and Ride right here by 222. And right behind me is the Springwater location in Adamstown. This has been here for years and years and years. You can actually come and slide a dollar bill in the machine and fill up your bottles with spring water. And then we're going to be headed out straight ahead out that way. We'll head up the road a ways, and then we get into the woods. So we'll be doing about 11 or 12 miles today. So we're going to get started.
Hi there. We're in a nice section of the woods here. We have some nice cover over our heads. It's a really hot day today. We did do some walking in a little bit through the roads and some developments. A lot of it's been in the woods. We're about 3 miles in. We are thankful for the cover overhead and the shade that we have right now. We did come through a section that had some pretty high grass, so you do want to make sure you always check yourself for ticks. put tick repellent on your clothes, your shoes. Eastern Mountain Sports has some good stuff in the store they can recommend. But like I said, we found a few ticks on us, and you need to make sure you're always checking yourself. So we're going to continue on, and we'll check in with you later.
Hey, welcome back. We are about 5 miles in on our hike, 5.5 maybe. We just hit another location where if you're looking to do an overnight on the Horseshoe Trail, this is another option. This is the Dutch Cousin Campground. It's about mile 8 on map 5. So we're going to keep heading up the trail. The trail literally passes right through the campground. So we're going to keep heading up on the trail and give you an opportunity to see a little bit of the campground. So we're almost through the Dutch Cousin Campground. Give you one last look here. I think most of what we're walking through are RV sites, but I'm pretty sure they do have tent sites as well if you want to carry a tent, and certainly you can bring an RV in. A lot of these look like permanent or semi-permanent residents. So, and then they have a whole mix of, oh, there we are, a whole mix of sites available. So just another option if you're looking to do an overnight on the Horseshoe Trail. Okay, here we are. We are about 2.5 miles from our stopping point for the day. Just catching a little video here. Sorry for the bumpiness of it here. I'm not doing a real good job of steadying the camera, but we just came up a pretty steady climb up Horseshoe Trail Road, aptly named, just north of the town of Denver, PA. And coming down the backside of it here, we've been on the road now for probably about 2 miles. Donna's hot and sweaty and just looking as good as ever. But probably the longest stretch on the road today. And then I think coming up here we duck into the woods for a little while, and then we'll be coming down the home stretch back to the car. So we'll check in later.
Good morning. We are climbing up Mountain Road, and we're going to do about 14 miles today. We are in West Cocalico, headed towards the Lancaster-Lebanon border, Penn Township. And we're going to show you some more of the trail up here, but did want to point out that while today we typically are doing anywhere between 13 and 15 miles, you can look on the maps and pick how many miles you want to do. Whether you want to do a couple, whether you want to do 5, whether you want to do 15 or more. It really is clear on the maps where you can park, and you can choose your locations, whether you section hike and you drop a car at each end, or if you just park a car, work a little bit, and then walk back. So we'll check in with you in a little bit and show you some more of the trail as we head along the way.
Alright, welcome back. It's a little before noon. We're about 4.5 miles in. We spent a little bit of time in the woods this morning, and then we've done about 1.5 miles on the roads here. Nestle Road, and then Girl Scout Road up to Furnace Hill Road. So we've been hiking a little bit on the road for the last 45 minutes or so. Finally getting ready to duck back into the woods here for what looks like quite a while on the map. The trail has been kind of variable. We've had some wet weather, so the vegetation is really taking off on the trail. It's a little dicey in spots. The rocks are slippery, so something you got to be careful of when you're hiking in these areas where the undergrowth is real thick. Sometimes you can't see rocks underneath. So we'll check in a little while. Okay, so we've been off the road for about 1/2 mile or so, and we have hit some chewy, ooey gooey goodness. We are in I think we're in Middle Creek, so we're approaching the Middle Creek Reservoir and Wildlife Preserve. Donna got a kick out of that one. Did you like that one? So we're going to be in through some pretty wooded areas for a little while here, so it should be really nice. But man, the trail's not in bad shape, and there's a great canopy giving us some cover here, and the temperature's certainly reasonable where we're going through. So we're going to keep moving. Okay, doing a little bit of a selfie video here. We just validated one of my new rules of hiking, and that is the bigger the stream of water that you cross, the steeper the climb on the other side. So we just crossed Middle Creek and are climbing out of the valley there, and it's a long climb. And it's humid today, so boy, what a difference when you're going from a nice downhill hike to a climb. So this is what it looks like. Trail's pretty good, a little rocky, typical Pennsylvania, but we're doing pretty good. Donna and I both inhaled a couple of gnats, which was real pleasant. So we stop in here for lunch in a little bit, and we'll see you then.
Hi, so we just came out of a real wooded section of the trail back here, and we're on a nice logging trail. It used to be a logging trail. It's pretty wide open. They keep it relatively clear. So we wanted to show you here on the map where we are. If you're looking for just a nice section to hike that is wide open and not too bad, we are on map 6, and here's Middle Creek Visitor Center. There's a parking area here. It's Valley View Trail. It takes you right up to here where it says 6.9. This is a nice logging trail. Like we said, it's wide open. Takes you to here, which is 3.9 miles, and then there's another little spur trail that off of here that takes you to the parking. So that's a little example of how you can do a little bit of a section. It's nice and wide open, like we said. Fairly easy hike, and just also an example of how to read these maps.
Hey, so we just stopped to take a break for lunch. We're about 9.5 miles in to the hike today. And before we stopped for lunch, we thought we'd talk a little bit about backpacks and the gear we're carrying. So you probably notice each time we head off, Donna and I are each have a backpack on. And so we'll take you through what we carry on a typical day, but just sort of to familiarize folks with them if you're not. So backpacks kind of fall into 3 different classes. There's day packs that are used for obviously just if you're hiking during the day. And then there's weekend or overnight packs. And then there's multi-day packs, which fall into a much larger class, probably the 45 liters and up. So I'm carrying a 44 liter. Donna's carrying a 33. Donna, what are you carrying?
Okay, so in my pack, in the front here, these go around your waist, and I keep a little snack. It's easy to grab while you're walking, so you don't have to stop to get into it. I've already eaten mine today, but I had crackers and a granola bar. I also carried chapstick. You just never know when you might need that. So I have that right here, easy to grab. I do have 2 water bottles that are available. What Paul and I found works best is Paul keeps his water bottle in my backpack, and I keep my water bottle in his backpack. That way you can just grab it as you're walking by, and you don't have to stop. It makes it easy. This backpack has a lot of nice compartments. I'm not fully utilizing them all because this is a little bit big for the day packs. I keep the camera up here so it's easy for us to grab to videotape for you. In here I have a little first aid kit that we've made with all different kinds of things, Band-Aids, ointments, lots of Advil, you never know when something's going to hurt, stretchy tape, some gauze pads. So just a little first aid kit. Always make sure you check that before you leave if you're using it. We use a lot of Advil, so we always make sure that we're replenished. This is a nice big pack here. We showed you before how we had it filled when we did the overnight. Again, I don't have that much in here other than my lunch. I have some more granola bars and snacks in case we get hungry along the way. This pack also has a nice little stretchy spot here that you can put stuff that I am not utilizing. For my trekking poles, there's little loops here that I can use, and that's about it. Paul, what's inside your pack?
So I have as I said before, a Talon 44 liter. Same model as Donna's, it's just a little bit bigger. So very similar features. The front cover lifts up. I have the mesh compartment inside. In the main compartment, I will keep the all-important lunch. And then there is, on both of the Talon packs, there's a compartment between the back panel or the frame and the actual backpack. There's a spot in here where you can slide water bottles, soft water bottles. These are platypus bottles. These are awesome. So we usually carry about 2 to 2.5 liters. So here's a 2 liter bottle, and then we'll carry another one of these. So carry a decent amount of water. I do also bring the filter, which I showed you earlier, in case we want to get a hold, in case we need to get a hold of some additional water. And then beyond that, having a bandana is great when it's this humid. Keeps the sweat out of your eyes. Same thing as Donna. I'll keep stuff that I need quickly on the front waist straps, and then I also keep just a large pocket knife in the front strap as well. So that's pretty much it. Like Donna said, these are a little big for day packs. They're kind of in between because we do use them for overnights as well. But we just thought we'd share what we carry each day when we go out on a hike.
Hi, so we just finished up lunch and we've gone about 13 miles. We just crossed over 501 and a little interesting place that I think is in the guidebook called the Pretzel Hut. And it has ice cream and obviously pretzels, food. It's a nice little place to stop for lunch. There are picnic tables. The trail kind of routes around the back of the Pretzel Hut, and they have a little petting zoo. So it's interesting to see some of the animals that they have that you can look at on your way by as you continue on the trail. Hi, we are almost done. We have a couple miles to go. This is Hammer Creek. One of the things that's extremely rewarding while you're on the hike and you're at the end and it's a hot, humid day is to find a creek like this and have some time to cool off. So we're going to head down the trail this way.
Across 322.
We are crossing 322, and we just have a couple more miles to go. So we didn't do 13 or 14. We kind of miscalculated just a little bit, and we did 18.58 miles today. If I look hot and tired, I am hot and tired. We are on, oh, Paul, what's the mountains?
The ridge along Furnace Hills.
Okay, we're along Furnace Hill, and it was a climb since the last stop that we had at Hammer Creek. It was a really good climb up the mountain, and then we just came out onto this access road and had another really good climb up to this point where we parked. The good thing is we don't have to do it next time. We conquered it, and we'll start from here. So we'll talk to you next time. Hi, and welcome back. Before we get started and show you where we're going to hike today, I wanted to apologize for not being able to show you some footage from our last hike. I told you about the Pretzel Shack, which is a great place to get a snack. They have an interesting little petting zoo. You can see the animals on your way by. We had the opportunity to meet one of the Horseshoe Trail Conservancy board members and his wife. They were horseback riding on the trail. We hiked up the trail to Eagle Rock, which has beautiful vistas, and unfortunately I did not hit the play button correctly. So
Record button.
or excuse me, the record button. So I was unable to show you the vistas that we had from there. And while we were there and Paul was talking to you, here came the board member and his wife on their horses, and I thought I was getting great footage of them, and I didn't. So I apologize. You'll just have to hike up there and see the beautiful views yourself.
So we're going to get started here this morning. We've been off the trail for a couple of weeks. It is the 18th of July, so middle of the summer, and it is a little overcast today. We're trying to sneak this hike in between some bad weather. It's typical Pennsylvania summer, thunderstorms and humidity. So we're going to shorten the hike a little bit today. We're going to do about 12, 13 miles. We're starting right up here where we left off at Furnace Hills, and we're going to hike along the trail past Mount Gretna and up to Mount Wilson Road. There's a State Game Lands parking lot there where we dropped the other car. So we're going to get started before the rain comes, and we'll check in a little later.
Okay, so we're about a mile in, maybe. Just came down off of Furnace Hills, a little decline down the side of the mountain there, and we're on a really nice section of the trail here, nice and wide, double track, and through a beautiful area of the woods, nice ferns in the undergrowth, and trail's pretty reasonable. It was a little rocky coming down the hill there, but trail's gotten a lot better, so just thought we'd share this with you.
Hi. Wanted to show you a little bit more of the trail. This is my least favorite spot of all. It was the last time we came through in the end of August, and now, like Paul said, it's the middle of July. I hate this section. You follow these power lines here, and unfortunately, the runoff on the hill, you go through a lot of standing water. We've had a lot of rain lately, so you're around these huge puddles. Paul actually went ankle deep in one, real murky, and unfortunately waist-high weeds, a lot of it. Right here is open, which is nice. It ducks into these woods here a little bit here and then, but this section you really just follow the power lines. It isn't real pretty and isn't real well maintained, unfortunately. It's just a tough section to get to. So we just thought we'd show you the good with the bad.
Hi, I'm picking cobwebs off on myself here. So we finally finished up that section of power lines, and that has got to be the toughest section of the trail we have done. There is waist-high grass, marshy areas. Then when you actually get through the power lines, you come down the side of the hill, and it's rocky and hard to get your footing. It's slippery. In addition to that, as Donna mentioned earlier, we've had a lot of rain, so the trail's been very slick and very muddy. So that was the roughest section. So we're now down, just hit a really nice stream here, and we are headed out through some of the neighborhoods in the area, and then we'll be crossing Route 72. So we've been on map 7, just for a reference. We started at mile 2.7, the power lines start around mile 3.7, and we're right around mile 7 at this point. So we're gonna keep moving on here.
Okay, so we just wanted to show you again how this trail changes. We went through the section that I don't like with the power lines. We went through the steep section that Paul referred to with the steep rocks and the tough terrain. We just crossed over 72, which is a very busy highway. That was after we went through a development. And here we are in beautiful countryside again. Nice cover overhead, which is nice because the sun has come out. We have not seen any rain, which was expected, so that's a nice change. Beautiful ferns below, and just another nice section of the trail. We are headed towards Mount Gretna. I think we skirt that a little bit, and we're going to be stopping for lunch, and we'll talk to you at that point.
Hey, we're back. We just took a quick break here and grab some lunch. We are right along the edge of Route 117, and the Lebanon Valley Trail goes actually left to right, as Donna's showing you the trail. It intersects the Horseshoe Trail here in a real pretty area through here. So we grabbed a stump and got our sandwiches and had some lunch here. So before we get started, I wanted to take a minute to talk about one of the critical pieces of equipment that we use now, and that is trekking poles. I'm sure you've seen us using them in the videos over the last couple of rounds. And kind of funny, when we first started hiking, I would see people using these and I would think, oh geez, they must not be real experienced hikers because they need poles to help themselves out. And the reality is these are great. When you're doing long hikes with packs on, anything over 6, 7, 8 miles, these are a huge benefit for several reasons. One is at our advanced age, when you're walking for a long period of time, your hands have a tendency to swell. Holding them down to your side and swinging them, your hands get a little swollen, it gets a little uncomfortable. With the trekking poles, it keeps your hands up a little higher and really prevents swelling problems in your hands. I don't think either of us have had problems with swelling in our hands when we use the trekking poles. The other thing that they're great for is taking a lot of the pressure off your knees on downhill and assisting on uphill climbs. So when you're going downhill, using them, you get them in front of yourself, and it really takes a lot of the weight off of your upper body by pushing it onto the poles, and it takes it off of your knees. And then when you're going uphill, kind of get into a rhythm where you're just kind of pushing your body uphill. I can tell you a huge help going on uphill inclines. And it also helps prevent injuries. There's a lot of rocks in Pennsylvania, a lot of rocks on the Horseshoe Trail, so this gives you some additional balance points that prevent you from twisting an ankle. There's been numerous times where Donna and I have slipped, started to turn an ankle, but because we had the poles out to our sides and we were able to recover. So it really does prevent injuries. So if you're going to do a decent amount of hiking, I would highly recommend getting a set of trekking poles. We use Leckies. These are aluminum. You can get them in carbon fiber as well. Around $150 for a set. Black Diamond also is a popular manufacturer of them. But I wouldn't skimp on these too much. If you break one, they're kind of useless. So get a decent pair, spend over $100 on them, and they'll last you for quite a while. So just wanted to go over that and give you guys that little tip. Highly recommend the trekking poles. Hey, here we are. Trying to do a little selfie video here. So we are past Mount Gretna at this point, about 2 miles from the car where we're going to wrap up for the day. The trail's been pretty nice for the last mile or so. Double track gravel road here through state game lands, and we'll be wrapping up here in a few minutes. It's been a hot one today, hot and humid. Never really got the showers we were supposed to get, and it's just when you're in the sun, it's typical July hot, humid weather. So we're gonna wrap things up here and we'll check in before we leave.
Hi, we just ended. We did almost 14 miles today. Mount Wilson Road is right here. It's where we just ended. Really nice parking lot here, plenty of spaces. We're the only ones here today. I guess we're the crazy ones to be out in this heat. It was a good hike, and we'll check in with you next week when we start again. Good morning. It is the beginning of August. We're getting an early start today. It's going to be a hot one, but the humidity dropped, so I think we're going to have a good day of hiking. We finished up last time we saw you coming across the field here, and we're going to be heading this direction. We are in Colebrookdale in the state game lands. just off of 117. We are going to be hiking map 8 today, so we will be ending right off of Sandy Beach west of Hershey. A little over 17.2 miles is what the map says, so it's going to be a long day ahead of us.
So I am, what I mentioned, I've got my Day-Glo green, lime green on, fluorescent green. One thing that is worth mentioning, we've been doing this hike in the summer, and there's no hunting going on that time of the year. However, if you are out hiking in the October-November time frame, I don't know the exact seasons throughout that period, but you have to be conscious of hunters out along the trail because they are out, and you do not want to be mistaken for game. And I've had an instance where I was on the trail and a bunch of hunters popped out of the woods and started shooting at pheasants. So they're out there, you don't see them, you want to make sure they see you. So if you're out in the October-November time frame, just go ahead and wear bright colors so that you can get noticed on the trail and you don't become mounted on the hood of someone's car.
I think also there is no hunting on Sundays. Double check that because I'm not exactly sure, but I think that there is no hunting on Sundays, so that would be a good day to hike as well.
Yeah. So we're going to get started. We got a long day ahead of us. As Donna said, a little over 17 miles. So we'll check in with you in a few. Okay, we just got started. Thought I'd show you a quick video of what the trail looks like just after we cross 117. I think we're headed through state game lands here, so it's pretty, very wooded. Donna's got a groove on, got a rhythm down. So we will talk to you soon. Okay, we're back. Probably not even a mile in, but just wanted to share this with you. I'm sure there's a name to this place. It's not labeled on the map. As I recall, it's a nature preserve of some sort. Just past Route 241, I believe. But beautiful. Mowed trails and just a real pretty area. But this is a point I wanted to make. We've reached a fork, and blazes are really tough to see.
We got lost here last time.
Yes, we did. So be careful in this section. Like I said, this is map 8, just past Colebrookdale, and get your blazes. I believe we go to the left. Actually, we'll check in after we figure it out. Okay, so this is why these are must-have. So as I showed you before, we've kind of reached a fork here, and we cannot find a blaze anywhere. It may be under some of these shorter trees, but what the map does show us is that the trail, we just crossed 241, the trail breaks off to the left. So we're going to do the same. We're going to take this left-hand fork.
And I think last time we went straight and we're wrong. We know we were wrong. So we'll let you know if we're wrong again, taking to the left.
Yep. Okay, we about 3.5 miles in here. Just we're walking through. I think these are state game lands here, and heard three pretty high-powered rifle shots. Not near any sort of gun range. It's not hunting season, so glad I wore my fluorescent green today. But if you run into a situation like that, let people know that you're on the trail. We both just gave a loud yell and didn't hear anymore because you can't tell where they're coming from, where they're shooting towards. And usually if you just let people know that there are other folks out here, they'll stop. But you run into this from time to time, some of these more remote areas along the trail. So like I said, about 3.5 miles in. We'll check in later.
I also wanted to let you know we did make the right choice when we went to the left at that fork in the preserve. It was a much shorter path than we took the last time when we went the wrong way. So stay to the left there at that fork in the preserve land, and like we said, that was the right way to go.
And now we have a sea of grass.
Hi, welcome back, and we are on Kreider Road. We are just a little over 6 miles on map 8 in beautiful Hershey. Some beautiful fields Paul can show you. We just came out of the woods and some nice coverage that we had, and we're going to be on the road for a little bit as we head into Hershey. Beautiful day. Luckily we've had a beautiful breeze, and like I said earlier, the humidity's dropped. So we're going to keep heading in.
Hey, welcome back. We just crossed Route 322 and passed the 9-mile mark on map 8. Past a parking location, Church of the Nazarene, right on 322. Nice parking lot there. Worth a look if you were looking for a place to park around that portion of the map. Classic Hershey farmland. Beautiful rolling hills, and you can see Hershey Park off in the distance out there. We are headed pretty much where Donna is pointing the camera. Hershey plant and the Hershey Hotel off in the distance. That's where we're headed. Got about another 8.5 miles. So beautiful Hershey farmland. Hey, we're back. We just passed mile 16, and Donna is exhausted, hot. We're both hot. This section of the trail from right before you cross 422 up to where we are now, which is by Hershey Cemetery, is one of the least desirable sections. You're on the road a lot, and if you're not on the road, you're walking through cornfields, not very scenic. And the roads are a little hairy to walk on. They're narrow. Speed limits are 45, 55 miles an hour. So you have to be real careful. You know, this is a good example of the road we just turned off here. I didn't check the map to see what the name of it is, but like I said, we're right here by Hershey Cemetery. So we got about another 3 miles to go. So we'll check in when we're all done, and hopefully much happier.
Hi, we are done for the day. We did about 18.5 miles. We are at the intersection of Swatara Road and Sand Beach Road. The trail turns right here, but as Paul will show you, we parked in this parking lot straight across the street here. There's a porta potty, plenty of parking space. We're actually going to drive down to the end of the parking lot. I think there's a place you can put boats in. We're going to see if we can go get cooled off.
Swatara Creek.
Oh, it's Swatara Creek.
Yes, it is.
How about that? Okay, we're going to go get in Swatara Creek and get cooled off.
Will we? Swatara Creek? All right.
Good morning. It is Saturday, August 22nd. We have been off for a couple weeks, so we are anxious to get back on the trail and get this hike finished. We are on map 9 today. We are at Boathouse Park, which is right off of Swatara Creek, which is the creek that we cooled off in after that last hot hike. We're in Dauphin County, and we're going to head about 14 miles into a little bit of map 10.
So I'll just mention, I'll apologize if we look like we're leaning a little bit. We have our camera precariously perched on top of the car roof, so we might be leaning a little bit. So one of the things we're going to get to experience today is a new reroute that was put in place for map 9. The Horseshoe Trail Conservancy rerouted about 5 or 6 miles on the map 9 route. Map 9 typically has been primarily on roads, so it'll be nice to get a look at that and see how that reroute looks. We'll show you that along the way here. It's an awesome day out, low humidity, some storms blew through a couple of days ago, and it's going to be just a perfect day for hiking. So let's get started, and we'll show you what it looks like along the way.
Okay, so we wanted to show you real quick where this detour is, this reroute. It's at East, right before East Canal Street, which is right behind me, and Sand Beach Road. There is not a double blaze here, there's just a single blaze, but you definitely do turn left here. The old route went to the right. So if you hit East Canal Street, you missed it, you need to turn around and head down this way.
Okay, we're back. We're on the reroute here off of Sandy Beach Road. Thought I would check in and give you a little bit of a look at it. So far, we're really liking it. I mean, as you saw, Sandy Beach Road was pretty busy, and this is much better. Here, we're kind of going along some pasture land here, farmland, but very, very beautiful. Well blazed, so we'll check in a little bit. Okay, we're back. I just literally finished a video along the trail, and we came out of the trail there. You can see the blaze back there into this, and geez, beautiful. I mean, what other trails give you this kind of well-groomed golf course effect?
It's gorgeous.
It is beautiful. It's probably someone's private land who's been gracious enough to allow the Horseshoe Trail to come through here. But it is...
Show them Monada Creek here. Just
beautiful.
Nice flowing creek.
The beautiful creek, Monada Creek, runs along the trail here. And then you just go through this grove. So I don't know how long it lasts, but we just had to share it with you.
Hi there. We just crossed 22. We're back on the road and called Zoo Mountain. Look at the friend I just found. These adorable little miniature donkeys.
Hey guys, what's happening?
So we had some trouble with losing the blazes as we were just talking and walking and not paying attention, but we found our way and we're going to head back on the road here.
Hey, welcome back. We are hiking along Monada Bottom Road. We just came underneath Route 81, and on the website it does mention that there's a detour that you actually have to take before you get to Route 81. It takes you all the way up to the north and around and then back to Monada Bottom Road. And it's kind of a long detour, so Don and I decided to take our chances, walk down here to the bridge that they're working on, and as you can see, that's not the bridge. It's a construction access. The bridge is still under construction. Cool thing is, when we got here, there was actually, Donna showed you the blazes there, actually a short reroute right at the bridge, and it comes down here, and there's a little spot to ford the creek here. So it saves us a lot of time, keeps you off a lot of roads, and it's a real nice little detour around the bridge. So we're moving on.
Hi there. We just stopped for lunch along a creek. It was the Manada Creek. We have been saying Monada, so we just met a gentleman that corrected us, and it is Manada. He said it's an old Indian term. He was actually from the Historical Society, and he is working on the Manada Furnace, which we just passed down there. There's some remains. We're in a beautiful section right now. We finally got off the road, and like I said, it was able to take a nice break at lunch along the creek, and we're going to keep heading this way.
Okay, we are coming down the home stretch. We passed the end of map 9, I guess about 2 miles ago. Got about another 2.5 miles to go to get to where we have parked the car. And we're going about 4 miles into map 10. So we are right around mile 13 and a half at this point. And I think from here on out it's all beautiful trail in the woods, in the mountains, and no more real road trekking. So we're going to finish this up. We'll check back in with you when we get to the parking lot. Okay, we have just wrapped up for the day. I'm gonna tell you, some days you got it, some days you don't. Today we just had the aches and pains and the blisters, but we made it 16 miles. Just came off the spur trail here. Route 433 is just down the end of this gravel road. So we are ready to wrap it up next hike. So we will see you for the finish of map 10.
Good morning. It is Sunday, September 6th. It is Labor Day weekend. We are on map 10 and we are finishing the Horseshoe Trail today. We are in West Hanover Township. We're going to head about 9 miles west where the Horseshoe Trail ends and intersects with the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, so we are in a State Game Lands parking lot right off of Route 443 here, as Donna said, in West Hanover Township. Nice sized lot, plenty of parking spots, and we're about 9.5 miles away from the end of the Horseshoe Trail. Beautiful section of the trail. It goes up and over a couple of ridges, down along Stony Creek, and really just a real pretty section of the trail. So we're going to get started and we'll check in a little bit.
Okay, we are back on the trail. We hiked about a quarter mile off that spur trail from the State Game Lands lot, and we have Second Mountain. Can't really see it here, but it climbs up to the right. That's off to our right, and a little further up here we'll be making a right turn and going up and over Second Mountain. So that'll be our first climb for the day.
We are about 1.5 miles in. As Paul mentioned earlier, we're hiking up Second Mountain. This part of this trail challenges you mentally and physically. As you're climbing up this hill, which Paul will show you, you keep thinking you're at the top, and it just keeps tricking you, and it just keeps going and going. It's an easy trail, not many rocks to climb over, but it is steep, and you just keep climbing up. Last time when we did this hike, we stopped at the top. There were some big boulders that we could sit on, and we had a nice view. We had a nice picnic lunch. If it's a clear day when we get up there, we'll show you the views, but this is one of the first challenges we'll meet of the day.
Hey, we made it to the top of Second Mountain. When we were here before, the foliage was a little less dense. You could actually see out over the valley here. A little tough here today. But if Donna zooms in a little bit, you can kind of just catch a glimpse over there of Third Mountain to the left, and then Sharp Mountain is to the right there. So we'll actually be going down the other side of Second Mountain here and cutting across Stony Creek and up through the gap of Third Mountain and Sharp Mountain. So we'll check in a few. Hey, we just came down off of Second Mountain, been hiking down along parallel to the base of Second Mountain and in the I guess what they call the Stony Creek Valley here. And we're getting ready to head down the trail here, service road, and we'll hit Stony Creek, which we'll show you in a little bit. But after we do that, we're going to be climbing to the top of that mountain off in the distance there. That is probably Third Mountain. And Sharp Mountain is to the right of it there. We'll be going up through the gap and climbing up there. So we'll show you a little bit of that when we get there. Hey, here we are. Just came down off of Second Mountain, and we just hit the bridge at Stony Creek. Really cool little place here. Creek runs through all the way down this valley, and there's some great places to stop and maybe dip yourself in the creek, get cooled off, and certainly some great places to stop and have a bite to eat if you're carrying a lunch. So we came down from this way. We're gonna head up about 100 yards or so, and we'll hit the railroad bed, and we'll start to head up into the gap. We're about 3.5 miles away from the end of the Horseshoe Trail, so we'll show you a little more of the trail up ahead.
I just wanted to show you this. This is a really pretty part of the trail. It's an old railroad bed. Originally it started in Dauphin and ran 17 miles east here. Again, it's just a nice flat section of the trail. It's real pretty. We've enjoyed this both times that we've been on it. There's a really nice parking lot at the end of the trail that if you want to utilize that, there's plenty of spaces and it's a great section to start from.
Okay, so we just finished up the trail here along the railroad bed, getting ready to start our way up the next climb. This takes us up into the Devil's Racecourse area and then eventually up onto the ridge where the Horseshoe Trail finishes. So kind of cool thing in the Horseshoe Trail guidebook, it talks about not only the railroad here, but this trail was actually a stagecoach trail. I think they called it the Ellendale Stagecoach Trail, so kind of some neat history. So we're going to start our trek up the mountainside here.
Okay, so we just came up the side of the mountain and came in off of the trail. This is called Devil's Racecourse. These huge boulders are incredible, and if you take the time, stop and listen, you'll hear there's water traveling underneath these rocks. So I'm just going to be quiet and you can listen to what Paul's videotaping and hopefully you can hear it.
Hey, we are approaching the finish line here. Been a pretty heavy duty climb. It's about a 600-foot elevation change from where we showed you the rocks at the Devil's Racecourse, and probably about 1,000 from Stony Creek. So been climbing here for a little while, but thought I'd bring you along for the final finish here. It's deceptive. Every time you think, it's gonna be right up here around the corner, and you turn the corner and there's more to climb. But I can see the tops of the trees here, so we have to be getting close. We're actually climbing on top of Stony Mountain. We passed through a sharp mountain gap, so we've really kind of passed over or through two mountains and then up here onto Stony. So whew, good climb. My advice during that climb is just pace yourself, take it easy. It's pretty rocky, so you don't want to extend yourself and get tired and turn an ankle or twist a knee up. So Mountain's not going anywhere. Donna, how you doing?
I'm doing great. We're almost there, I think. From what I remember.
Yep. Here we are, guys. We have made it. It's the final trail register there. And then the official marker is right up here. And here is the AT, guys. Yeah. Here you go, Donna, give it a hug.
Second time around feels better. Okay, so we just wanted to take a couple minutes to recap here and thank everyone for joining us on our epic Horseshoe Trail adventure. You saw the good and the bad with us, but it was very enjoyable. We challenged ourselves and did more miles than we have done in the past, and it felt good. You can take it at your own pace and do what you want to do, but always challenge yourself and get out and enjoy it. Do want to do a shout out for everybody that keeps the Horseshoe Trail clear, that volunteers. We hope to now give back and join the cleanup crews that are in our area and give back so that other people can enjoy it.
Yeah, so everything that Donna said, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. We've done this trail twice, as I think we've said before. We really pushed ourselves a lot harder this time. The second time took us about 4 months, and a lot happens over that time. A lot of life changes. I lost my mom during this round, so miss you, Mom. But it's been like they say, the trail's a little bit like life. And a lot of great experiences. You learn a lot about yourself, and you get back in shape at the same time. So get out and try it out, enjoy it. We loved it. So now we just have to figure out which way we're going to go now. We're going to go north or south. We'll find out.